crash and burn.
Hey, so today I want to talk about Skinny Puppy's Remission. This came out back in 84/85 via Nettwerk. This is one of those seminal industrial records that really set the entire scene up. This and Bites, I mean, Skinny Puppy in general, without them, industrial would be actually nowhere. Because in a lot of ways, they were the guys that gave birth to the entire movement, which as of 2022 is in a steep decline. A lot of people have argued that industrial is dead, and I don't know. There's technically, I can think of a handful of bands off the top of my head. I mean, V&V Nation's still going. There's Project Pitchfork. Skinny Puppy occasionally reformed to create a record. Weapon being their last, came out a few years ago. It was a lot of fun. I like the use of the more like modern technology to make the record, how they reworked some of their older stuff, and it really worked. But then they break up and they say they're never going to release another record again, and Skinny Puppy have been doing that for a number of years at this point. They reform, make a record, say we're back together, release the record, that's it, we're breaking up, we're not doing it again. Give it a few years, then they start the process all over again. But at this point, they were brand new, and this record, this and Bites, I mean, I prefer this one over Bites. It's a Smothered Hope. It's got Glass Houses, Far Too Frail, a Sleeping Beast, Solvent. Like, this record, it shows their skill as songwriters, and it shows their passion for the entire sound that they're helping to create, and they're just really good at what they do. And at this point, I mean, they were incapable of making anything by way of like a mistake. All their earlier stuff is an absolute knockout. And I think that anybody who's into Skinny Puppy will agree that their stuff right through the 80s, the entire decade was pretty much flawless. And it wasn't until the 90s, mid-90s, around the remix distemper years, when things started to change somewhat. They were still good, but as of the process, things had changed so significantly that it was like they couldn't really find their way back to that sound that they had helped to birth back in the 80s. And that's perfectly okay because things change. But I will say it was a bit of a knock because I just love the 80s as far as what Skinny Puppy did with them and their sound from every album that they released. And that decade, they released a ton of material from, 1980 to 1990. There was a massive amount of stuff that they had done. And that was because of the concept of BRAP, which would be to get high, hook up electronic instruments, and make music. And did they pump out a lot of material with this sort of like philosophy? BRAP, I think, is a word, of course, that they invented themselves. And yeah, they have written and recorded so much music that I doubt it could all ever be released. And not to mention the fact that the guys in the band have had so many numerous side projects that have released so many records on their own. These guys are prolific songwriters, and they are really good at what they do. And not to mention the fact that, Dave would go on to produce for like the Nine Inch Nails, and he would end up producing a number of hit songs for other pop artists throughout the years. These guys had a lot in the tank. And the 80s was sort of when they shined the brightest. They were at their wildest, too, as far as doing too many drugs and pushing too hard. But sometimes that mixture of volatility and drug use does create some incredible music. And that is the case with this record here. I love Far Too Frail. Far Too Frail is probably my favorite song off this record. But Glass Houses, Smothered Hope, Solvent, Sleeping Beast... This record's perfect. Every song counts. Every song has a purpose. Every song has meaning. Everything. Skinny Puppy were on fire throughout the 80s. And I think I'm probably going to leave it there because I've been into Skinny Puppy pretty much my whole life and I could gush about them forever. But after a while you find that you're just kind of repeating yourself over and over again, and I don't want to do that. So look, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for checking out my talk about Skinny Puppy's fucking badass 84-85 record Remission. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. And up until this point, thank you so much for everything. You guys kick ass. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.